When we constructed this 2 years ago, the trees were in good health. I didn't anticipate this day. Believe me. Have you ever envisioned living completely off the grid? Only you, your loved ones, and the untamed splendor of the natural world. In Homestead Rescue, where the Raney family transforms survival into art, that dream is realized. One man in particular sticks out among them. Fan favorite, devoted son, and expert hunter, Matt Raney. He is the focal point of the show because of his serene demeanor and keen intuition. However, Matt's unexpected news is currently dominating the news. This discovery has the potential to alter fans' preconceived notions. You might not believe what's going on behind the scenes, so pay attention. Living on a Homestead 0047. It would be impossible to talk about Matt without bringing up Homestead Rescue. It was the center of his entire existence. He grew up in it, was born into it, and continues to live there. Naturally, no child can choose their birthplace, the way of living that defines their early years, or anything else, which makes life in general intimidating. Every child inherently lives the life that their parents supply. This reality was the same for Matt. There is a significant obstacle when you are born to a tough mother who isn't afraid to face the perils of the jungle and a father who works as a skilled survivalist. You receive a cabin in the middle of nowhere rather than a fancy, well-furnished home with all the latest technology. No centralized heating system, no electricity, and no advanced entertainment. Every day is an opportunity to stroll through the bush, get your hands dirty in the garden, avoid being devoured by animals, and perform all other uncomfortable chores. This was Matt's world. It sounded impossible for any city child, and it was uncomfortable. Matt got along. He is tough, creative, resilient, and has Raney's bloodline and family name. His father, Marty Raney, is plainly recognizable in him. Regarding Matt's personal life, not much is known. It's uncertain when he was born. But data collected from several sources showed that Matt was born in July of 1982. Matt enjoys living a quiet life. He would have led a quiet life away from public sight and scrutiny if Homestead Rescue hadn't become so well known. Living alone with his sister, parents, and himself in the Alaskan tundra may have influenced his outlook on life. He has prioritized peace above an eccentric, boisterous celebrity lifestyle because he has spent the majority of his life in a busy metropolis without noisy neighbors. Regretfully, Matty's popularity is a fate rather than a choice. What does it mean to Matt to live on a homestead in the middle of Alaska, brave the bitterly cold winters, share neighbors with bears and other wild animals, and be without the most basic social amenities? Matt has never talked about growing up in the woods, has never voiced complaints or discussed the difficulties. One thing is certain, though, he adored it. Every journey to save a family struggling to maintain an off-road lifestyle is incredibly rewarding. Every tree that is felled, every piece of wood that is made into a log, and every log that is combined to form a shelter has a backstory. Every story has a complex plot. Matt is always excited to work with the Raney family. They enjoyed living off-grid, but it was more than that. They are also easily accessible to assist those who make comparable blood and sweat decisions. A man's choice in 1974 led to the homestead lifestyle that has become everything to Matt. Marty Raney is the man. What led Marty to make this pivotal choice? Why did he choose to be imprisoned in the Alaskan bush and abandon civilization? How simple was it to raise a family of 4 on your own? As we delve more into Marty Raney's life, we will soon discover. Marty Raney and the path to constructing Homestead Rescue 0419. It's safe to say that Matt inherited his father's strength and inventiveness. Not only do they have similar faces, but you can also immediately spot the similarities between the two. They both have long beards as well, but Matt has a longer beard. Matt learned how to be a survivor and a strong guy from Marty. Who taught Marty? Marty was not forced to travel to Alaska to begin living alone and off the grid. No footprints were being followed by him. He was merely acting on his instincts, satiating his intense yearning for outdoors and adventure. He is no longer interested in city life. For Marty, the thrills and excitement of North Bend, Washington's bustling traffic, noise, and artificial life have faded. He desires solitude, excitement, adventure, the forest's aroma, birdsong, the river's dazzling sound, and his own coolness. Marty was willing to give up a glamorous life in Washington to satisfy this yearning. He packed up his possessions, said goodbye to civilization, and embarked on a new journey in 1974. He was only 18, a young man who should have been enthralled by the city's splendor and wanted to drive the newest, most streamlined vehicle. He opted for the wilderness's isolation and peril. He began his journey to Alaska by settling in with the loggers at the camps on Prince of Wales Island. Instead of a pen, a chainsaw was given to him. It was a completely different way of living. Anyone could give up on living in the forest due to the terrifying sight of falling trees and the sound of the chainsaw. Marty was strong, prepared to take on the challenging circumstance, begin a new life, and make it through. He always intended to embark on this new path with his adorable family rather than by himself. He was drawn to Molly, a young, vivacious, and industrious woman they met in the 1970s. Because of this ambition, two young explorers' admiration blossomed into love. Molly gave Marty the upper hand. She helped him navigate this new, difficult way of life. The two loves banded together, were married, and settled in Alaska's vast wilderness. They were aware of the dangers of raising a family in an isolated location, away from civilization, and surrounded by harsh reality. However, their dread was overshadowed by their drive and willingness to speak up. They made their way farther into the wilderness rather than out of it. They ventured farther into the bush as their ambition increased. They initially faced a number of uncertainties. The issue of how they can independently meet their basic necessities, constructing all they require on their own, setting up a water system, supplying warmth when the snow crushes in the winter, keeping the beast at bay while navigating a difficult and rocky route. Each task was a puzzle that was difficult to figure out. But they believed. Marty added mountain climbing to his growing understanding of survival tactics. It could be challenging to find quality entertainment. The only sounds that surround them are those of nature, the howling of bears, the whistling of birds, and the cracking of frogs. He had to improvise, Marty realized. To excite his family and foster a close relationship, he needed to find a source of amusement. He considered music to be the answer. However, how are they going to acquire such in the middle of nowhere without any electronics or electricity? Marty made do. He came up with a superior idea. He created a guitar out of the wood and used his voice to create beautiful music. Marty believed he was merely amusing his family. He had no idea that he would be entertaining the entire United States with his voice as he described the thrilling and difficult life of the Alaskan bush. When the children were born, but that did not occur. Rather, it strengthened them. The parents used snow, forests, and mountains to train their children. Their children inherited the reality that has become their way of life. Every child received instruction on the importance of perseverance, diligence, and strength. Every child developed into an extension of their parents. The ideal conditions were present when the Discovery Channel offered to host the program Homestead Rescue. They didn't have to plan, prepare, or practice for it. They didn't feel pressured to carry it out. They had been living their lives for this moment, and it has become their way of life. Scripting is not necessary because there is nothing to fake. Only a life they have mastered through suffering and tenacity can be captured on video. There were benefits to television. The Raneys became a worldwide phenomenon as a result. The hero was a family who had been struggling in the Alaskan wilderness a few years prior, saving others who are struggling to adjust to living off the grid. The Raneys were aware of the hardships associated with beginning a new life in the jungle. They have been in this annoying predicament. They were aware of the anxiety and the struggle to stay or give up. Helping others who were going through the same thing wasn't something that was done for show or to become relevant or popular. It was an opportunity to repeat their harshest life experience and use it to shed light on others. The viewers are able to witness the passion and commitment that accompany their performance. The way everything happened organically was more captivating. It is not a performance in which actors make a concerted effort to follow a script. It wasn't a performance of people attempting to win over others. People are drawn to Matt's earnestness as he ventured into the woods and attempted to transform a broken cabin into a safe, comfortable, and secure haven. In fact, he is becoming more well known for his hard work than his father, Marty. He gradually developed into a vital component of the performance, moving from the passive assistant who assists his father in carrying out a basic work. He is tracking a hunt in the deep wilderness, getting ready to supply meat for the entire team. If he isn't on the roof trying to fit into a run-down structure, everyone recognizes his unparalleled proficiency with arrows, traps, and other hunting weapons. He wasn't only going hunting. He was becoming more and more of a mentor and a representation of courage and power. Discussions concerning him began to emerge both online and offline. His relevance share was already growing in importance. He was becoming an essential and important part of the act. A small boy who was born in the most terrible circumstances quickly rose to become everyone's hero. Many questioned how Matt was able to accept his parents' way of life with such ease. He remained silent even after he had matured and had the strength to oppose this difficult and perilous life. It was obvious to all that he was happy. He loved living off the grid since it was a gift to him rather than something that was forced upon him. Every time he appeared on television, his soft yet bold voice provided that thrilling narrative. Genuineness was one thing that could not be disputed. Everything is done for show in order to become relevant and make a living. He had most likely outlived the wilderness way of life. He lives in a distant area of the city. It was a duty to show up on TV as a hero while in the Alaskan tundra. He then quickly leaves with his family to his comfortable location after filming the episode. Anything might occur. There is a lot of dishonesty in show business. Furthermore, the people have been victims before. Individuals are not merely maintaining skepticism without discovering evidence to support their assertions. The Raneys were the center of attention. Every member of the family was being watched. But it was challenging to follow each Raney's life, particularly off-screen. Their off-screen interaction came with a certain amount of privacy. They don't share complex content on social media. They don't oversaturate Instagram with images and narratives that provide the public with data for their research. Even the others are making an effort. Though not much of it is helpful, at least a few facts can be learned about them. Matt's life was more private than ever. Nobody is aware of his true age. Knowledge of his early years turns into an even more valuable resource than priceless jewels. Everyone starts to inquire. To learn more about Matt, they approach those who knew him well. People are interested in learning about his upbringing in the woods and the difficulties he had. Despite living in the most isolated place, people are curious about how he managed his schooling. People want to know how he acquired his exceptional skills in building cabins and, more importantly, how he acquired his unparalleled hunting abilities. People consistently reach a dead end the more they attempt to understand this fascinating and useful information. They could only rely on conjecture. Was there something Matt was concealing? Is it possible that he was attempting to clear his record and prevent others from learning the truth about him? According to several viewers, he was purposefully keeping information from the public. Some followers applaud Matt's privacy decision because it's not illegal to lead a private life. They think he leads this kind of life to avoid creating unneeded news that could spark controversy. He was merely attempting to meet his parents' expectations. When the audience is overloaded with information, certain people have the ability to manipulate it and create a bad narrative. The question of how long he will maintain a spotless record is also raised by some groups of people. Up to his recent involvement in a slew of damaging scandals, Marty even made an effort to maintain a spotless record. People think that everyone, even Matt and Marty, the family's leader, were implicated in the incident. What was the contentious issue? Is it accurate to say that Matt is involved in the controversy? Whether it is true or not, Matt should not be excluded from the controversies that surrounded the program because he shares in its success. Let's recap the unexpected information about the Raineys that shook the media world. The dispute. The Raineys have made an effort to avoid falling into the trap of unfavorable conversations over the years. For them, maintaining a spotless reputation was just as crucial as constructing a safe home to fend off the deadly cold of winter. In terms of media, the parents and kids had led a simple lifestyle. They have made every effort to portray the quiet character. They did not view fame as a means of achieving their goals. It wasn't a means of gaining influence. It wasn't a commercial product. They don't really care about fame. Acting out their parts in the Homestead Rescue show wasn't a vigorous quest for attention. They never requested it, therefore it was merely a reward. One thing was certain though, they earned it. For a long time, the key to staying out of the wrong book of history has been to live a minimum existence away from society and in the media. However, things were about to change. 1608. Television enhances people's lives in addition to revealing them and making them popular. It combines things that must be recorded with those that do not. In contrast to the universal reality of life's imperfections, everything on television must be flawless or nearly flawless. Many people wonder if the Homestead Rescue show is being manipulated when everything seems perfect. A portion of the program was scripted. It was all conjecture. There is no reason to believe the rumors. However, as the years passed, fresh tales emerged. What began as conjecture gradually began to gain evidence. Individuals whose lives had been saved started to come forward with startling information. This revelation focused more on Marty than the Homestead Rescue crew as a whole. Given that he is the crew leader, the explanation is obvious. Every member of the family will be equally affected if the controversy causes the show to suffer catastrophic harm. Matt's upbringing and birth will be characterized as a series of lies and deceit. Nothing was more annoying. Matt's life became a topic of discussion, awaiting the public's perhaps biased affirmation through their assessment. All of Rainey's relatives fell silent. The veracity of some of the show's content was questioned by former participants. They discussed the show, which was a reflection of their lives in part. In the first season of the show, Kim and Josh Zbeck were the first to share their tale. A family's existence in the woods turned into a nightmare when their pig went crazy and nearly destroyed their entire cabin. As the season revealed, Raney was revealed as the savior in the intriguing plot. The children and his wife took their parts, while Marty took the survivalist coach. The startling revelation is about to happen. The Zbecks thought the finished product was over the top. A portion of the footage was removed, exposing them as novice, defenseless livestock farmers in dire need of assistance. They thought that was an inaccurate perception of them. They had been managing their cattle company fairly well and were already seasoned livestock farmers. The Raneys' arrival was merely intended to assist with an overwhelming case. The disclosure sparked uproar among those who upheld the long-held notion that reality shows are invariably tainted with staged events and dramas. Despite the Raneys' best efforts to alter the stories, they were unlucky to fall into the trap. Like everyone else in the family, Matt was also impacted. Similar to the Zbeck family, other participants also produced ambiguous insights regarding biased information. These accusations were insignificant when carefully considered, but the impact was enormous. The show's uniqueness was questioned. The Raneys feared the revelation, which some fans reacted to as a violation of trust. The Raneys remained silent in the midst of this calamity. Neither Matt nor Marty spoke. Some believe that the silence proves the accusation, while others see it as a peaceful solution to problems. Although the Raneys remained mute, the court did not. There were lawsuits. At first, the cases appeared to be destructive. People thought Homestead Rescue was about to come to an end. The impact of the lawsuit's judgment was too great for them to overcome. But the Raneys clung to one another. They supported one another while navigating the storm. 1955. The litigation chapter eventually vanished into thin air. The attorney dismissed the lawsuit since it had no significant impact. Rumors and conjecture, however, persisted. Every time a new episode is broadcast, people continue to discuss it. Everyone agrees that every achievement has a cost. The Raneys have benefited from their notoriety. Their influence has spread far and wide, and their lives have become a source of amusement in various homes and families. The challenge was manageable to take on. You might wonder if Matt was impacted by the controversy or if it extended to his close relatives. We shall examine Matt's family life in the following segment of the video. Matt's family. Matt's decision to follow in his father's footsteps and live as a homesteader is not surprising. There was more to life in the Alaskan bush than suffering and hardship. Ultimately, Matt has come to like the way of life and is not protecting his family from the thrill of living on the ranch. Matt has become a family man. He married Katie, the woman of his dreams. But there isn't much information about Katie on the internet. Nonetheless, it is clear that the couple is really in love. The romantic relationship that exists among the family is perfectly captured in Matt's Instagram photos. Did you know that, based on data, Matt has tens of thousands of Instagram followers who engage with his compelling posts that depict his life as a husband, hunter, and survivalist in Alaska's wilderness? These daring journeys are also visible on Instagram. Don't hold him to such high standards. As previously stated in the video, Matt would rather keep a significant portion of his personal information private. Taking a closer look at his marriage. According to information, Matt and Katie were married on May 2, 2016. We will not tell you where the wedding took place or how it was celebrated. Only his family and close relatives are aware of that. We are aware that marriage has endured for nearly 10 years. In 2018, the couple also welcomed their first child, a son. Ruby was their daughter as well. On August 20, 2021, Ruby celebrated a beautiful birthday. Her picture took over Matt's entire Instagram page. Her adorable appearance was appreciated by all. Matt and his family's life in the bush is a perfect fit for a television program. They embraced this way of life wholeheartedly. Matt resides in the Alaskan bush in a semi-modest apartment close to his parents. Additionally, he intends to establish his own community in the area near his family. Family is the most important thing to the Raneys. The greatest fulfillment comes from living near to one another, supporting one another, enduring the harsh winter together, and producing food through subsistence farming. As the first son and heir to Homestead Rescue, an organization his father laboriously founded, Matt is also aware of his crucial role in the family. Matt plays an important role in the Homestead Company in addition to being a family member. The family has adequate protein thanks to his unparalleled hunting prowess. Viewers view him as a brave man because he braved deadly animals like the bear while navigating the most isolated area of the jungle. People around have expressed admiration for this quality. As a result of his enormous contribution to the program, he is becoming more and more important, receiving more screen time, and becoming a crucial component of each season and episode. It's thrilling to see him pursue creatures like moose, caribou, and Dall sheep and obtain his kills through deft hunting. In addition to hunting on land, Matt hunts fish like salmon and halibut while exploring the sea. Matt is unquestionably a vital member of the tribe. He is resourceful in addition to being instrumental. The most notable aspect of the show is that he doubles as a superb constructor. When the time comes, Matt can take over everything where Marty leaves off. Marty is moving forward already. While he remains the survival coach, he requires someone to put in a lot of effort. Matt is the most qualified candidate for the role. Or you might wonder, what about Matt's brother, Misty? Without a doubt, each person has a part to perform, taking on the challenging task of assisting struggling homestead owners in adapting to Alaska's harsh wilderness, making a living from it, and becoming survivalists like the Raney family is increasingly significant. Matt fit in with the homestead business with ease. Will Matt's son follow suit? Online rumors circulated that Matt was attempting to conceal his son. Not many people are familiar with his name. We took care of that for you. Indy is the name of Matt's son. In one of those Instagram family videos, Matt disclosed that Indy laments the bitter cold in the Alaskan bush. Does that imply that Indy won't be able to adjust to Alaska's teeth-clenching winter, which is the most important aspect of the homestead business? Future events will determine that. As a young child, Indy is still attempting to understand and adjust to his surroundings. His life, talent, and fortitude are a story that continues to captivate the growing number of viewers who tune into the Discovery Channel to catch a peek of their favorite character. Just as his father Matt has served as an inspiration to many others across the world. Homestead Rescue on television. Additionally, Matt teaches tracking and hunting techniques to both aspiring and experienced survivalists with ease. His educational side has benefited a lot of individuals. Matt has established himself as a proficient hunter, just like his father has established a solid reputation as a survival expert. The most important ability required to survive in the woods is hunting. Meat will be required to fend off dangerous predators if it is included in the meal. Having said all of that, does that mean living in a wooden hut in the Alaskan wilderness? Far from the comforts and beauties of civilization, trouble-free? Have you ever considered the detrimental effects on their health? This riddle is about to be solved by Matt's next revelation. Matt's weight fluctuations. In the episode, shifting weight became a major issue with Misty's atypical look. Everyone saw that she had shrunk in size. She appears to be losing weight. Could it be that the homestead business was overworked or that she was fighting a disease? The gossip and conjecture didn't last long before she responded in a reassuring manner. She blamed her pregnancy for the weight loss. Her allegation was not accepted by everyone. There were still many who believed that she was secretly battling an unidentified ailment. Matt is likewise subject to this kind of public scrutiny. Lately, his weight on the program has fluctuated. He is either adding or decreasing. Everyone thinks that living on a homestead is seriously harming his health. 27:19. The signs of stress are slowly becoming apparent. Molly, Matt's mother, has likewise disappeared from the most recent episodes. Concerns regarding the family's well-being were raised. Is she already planning to retire from the demanding life of the program, or is she also battling illness? There are a lot of unanswered questions, but one thing is certain: Homestead Rescue is not giving up. The 9th season's production and release are still in progress. We can't wait to see our sweet Matt lead us down the hunting trail and make families happy after assisting them in obtaining a suitable homestead cabin. Are there any other details you would like us to know about Matt? Please leave it in the comments section. Keep checking this channel for more fascinating discovery stories. Like, share, and subscribe to this page. On your screen, click the video that follows.